Hi there, I'm Beth, and this week I'm joining in a fun collaboration with my #Dream Team, who are Marna of Dolls Rescued, Tammy Powley of Peacecraft Dolls, and Jay of J Dolls UK. Marna recently got her first smart dolls and invited us all to join her in making some summer dresses. I will be showing you how to make a dress like this, using a free sewing pattern and some additional simple shapes. The pattern you will need is the Beer Girl dress, which is shared for free on the Smart Doll website. You will only need a few pieces from the blouse, the front top, the back side, the left back, and the front bottom. For my first draft of this dress, I altered the front bottom slightly, adding a little more length to the centre front, top and bottom. I don't think I'll keep this alteration for the next version though. I already made a video showing how to put together the whole Beer Girl dress. I will link it in the description if you'd like to watch that again. But basically, we'll be putting together these blouse pieces and adding on a 2-part skirt, both simple rectangles gathered to fit. I'm going to trace round the original templates and shorten them ever so slightly so that the skirt starts a little higher up on the body. I'm just taking off 5mm along the bottom of each piece. And you can see I'm taking off 5mm of the lower edge of the side seams too, tapering them towards the waist. Here they're all cut out, and I'm using the original bust piece as is. In addition to your fabric, you'll need narrow, flat elastic in 2 6.5cm lengths. These will be gathered in a casing along the top of the bust cups. They will then be joined together at the front. The bust will be gathered to fit the centre front piece. Then the side and back pieces will be attached with the edges being overlocked and hemmed. Here I've overlocked the top edge of each bust cup and ironed the seam allowance. I'll sew a channel for the elastic and gather it. Join them together. Then sew a gathering seam along the bottom. On the inside here, I pressed open the seam allowance and neatly stitched this flat. I pull on the bobbin thread to gather the lower edge of the bust until it matches the other piece. I've overlocked the hem and will finger press it upwards. Here I've sewn on the side and back pieces and have top stitched the rear side seams before overlocking the upper raw edges. I will fold them over and top stitch them after locking these side seams, and will then top stitch the front side seams. I will then overlock the last 3 edges. The bodice is assembled, and I think I will put a little stitch here to keep that seam allowance pointed up. I will cut out the skirt and ruffle pieces, which are measured as shown. Including an allowance of 7mm, the skirt is 19 by 8.5 inches and the ruffle is 28 by 3 inches. This lovely fabric, by the way, was gifted to me by my lovely friend Barb at Enchantarium. I think flowers on a dark background are one of my favourite fabric designs. I will start with the ruffle, which has been overlocked and hemmed. I've also sewn 2 parallel rows of straight stitches which I will pull and gather until the ruffle measures the same width as the skirt. It really helps me to press the gathers with the iron once I've pulled them into the right size. It makes them a little easier to sew over. My ruffle is attached, overlocked and top stitched. Next, I'll gather the waist seam, but as this fabric is a little heavier than my first skirt, I might draw in 2 darts to reduce the bulk a little at the waist. I've drawn in 2 darts, which once gathered will match up with the front side seams of the bodice. The darts are sewn and pressed, so now I will gather the waist as before, pressing before sewing. The skirt is now attached, overlocked and top stitched upward. I'll be folding in the back edges and top stitching them. And to close up the dress, turn it right sides in and sew up the back. I've attached snap fastenings. The lowest one can be opened to help plug in the stand if needed. There's one last thing I want to add to this dress though, which is halter straps. I also wanted to point out that I offset the rear seam so that it has an overlapped closure, which I always think looks neater to me. I also included my label because I'm considering offering these summer dresses for sale in my shop. I tested out the halter straps with some strapping to work out the size. Here I've sewn them. They just need to be pressed and stitched in. I ended up making them 10mm wide by 25cm long by cutting rectangles of 3cm by 26. Here are the dimensions of the darts I added as well, in case you want to copy them. I've tucked in the raw edges of the straps and will securely top stitch them. And here is my Fuyumi, my lovely T North, trying out the dress. Isn't it stunning? I do hope you will give this pattern a try yourselves. Please enjoy some final shots of Fuyumi and Haru, my Coco Beyond, modelling both my summer dresses. The weather has really improved here this week and it was nice to be able to take both my girls out to play. I'd like to thank all my lovely patrons for their extra support and my lovely dream team for joining me in this fun summer dress collaboration. Please be sure to check out each of their videos today. I can't wait to see what they all made. You'll find links in the description box below. Please let me know what you thought of today's creations in a comment below. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it, and of course, subscribe if you haven't already. I really appreciate all your support, and your interaction really helps me and the channel. Check out my shop in the link below if you're interested in one of these dresses. Thanks so much for watching, take care of each other, and I'll see you soon. Bye!